heptagram image. It actually spans almost 1,500 years of intellectual history. What's fascinating is that each of these figures inherited ideas from their predecessors and adapted them to their own era. Vettius Valens was a professional astrologer living in Alexandria during the height of the Roman Empire. Unlike many philosophical writers, Valens was a working astrologer who recorded hundreds of actual charts and practical techniques. His surviving work, the Anthologies, is the largest practical astrological manual from antiquity. It is especially valuable because it preserves techniques that were already considered ancient during his lifetime. Modern historians often compare the two major astrologers of the period. Claudius Ptolemy explains the theory, and Vettius Valens, who explains what astrologers actually did. Valens did not invent planetary hours. They almost certainly originated from earlier Babylonian astrology, but Valens is among the earliest surviving authors to explain exactly how the system works. He explains that the planets follow the order: Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon, which today we call the Chaldean order. He also explains that each successive hour belongs to the next planet in that sequence, producing the familiar weekdays because after 24 hours, the sequence advances by 3 places. This is essentially the same algorithm all planetary hour calculators use. One interesting difference: Valens counted a day from sunset, following older Greek and Babylonian custom. Modern planetary hour systems usually begin at sunrise. The planetary sequence itself is unchanged. If Valens preserved practical astrology, Gerard Dorn transformed alchemy. Student of Paracelsus, Dorn was one of the principal followers of Paracelsus. Instead of treating alchemy merely as making gold, he argued it represented purification of the soul, knowledge of nature, union with God. Many ideas later associated with Jung actually appear first in Dorn. The famous phrase, in ve cita interiora terrae rectificando in ve nesses occultum lapidum, is closely associated with 16th century alchemy. Dorn helped to popularize this inward interpretation. Visit the interior of the earth becomes examine your own inner nature. This emblem appears in the early 17th century and became one of the most recognizable images in European alchemy. The acronym spells Vitriol. Many editions continue with Verum Medicinam, the true medicine, which summarizes the entire great work in one sentence. The hidden stone is simultaneously the philosopher's stone, the perfected matter, perfected humanity. Basil Valentine is one of the most mysterious figures in alchemy. We don't even know if he was a real person. He may have been a Benedictine monk, a pseudonym, or several authors writing under one name. Most historians believe the works attributed to Basil Valentine were edited and published decades after the supposed author's lifetime. Azoth, 1613, his most famous illustrated work, was first published in Frankfurt in 1613. This book contains a series of remarkable woodcuts. They combine planets, zodiac, alchemical operations, Christian symbolism, Hermetic philosophy, all into single composite diagrams. We have the Old Man, prima materia, the 3 principles, sulfur, salt, and mercury, the 4 elements, fire, air, water, and earth, the black crow, Negretto, white dove, Albedo, and the red bird, Rubedo, and Vitriol. All of this combined into one diagram. Most books describe the planetary arrangements as merely representing the 7 planets. However, the planets are not arranged arbitrarily. They appear in exact Chaldean sequence that immediately allows the diagram to function as a planetary hour calculator. You have probably seen this image before, the heptagram, the 7-pointed star representing each of the visible 7 planets. Starting with Saturn at the bottom, they are numbered 1 through 7. Going clockwise, Saturn 1, Jupiter 2, Mars 3, Sun 4, Venus 5, Mercury 6, and Moon 7. The arms of the star can be traced in a clockwise motion from Saturn to Sun, Sun to Moon, Moon to Mars, Mars to Mercury, Mercury to Jupiter, Jupiter to Venus, and finally Venus to Saturn. This is the order our week progresses. Saturn equals Saturday, Sun equals Sunday, Moon equals Monday, Mars equals Tuesday, Mercury Wednesday, Jupiter Thursday, and Venus Friday, and back to Saturn, Saturday. The planetary hours from the Chaldean order starts with the day of the week that the sun rises as the first hour, and is the hour of the week day. For example, sunrise on Saturday is the hour of Saturn. Sunrise on Sunday is the hour of the sun. Monday, the moon, etc. The next hour of each weekday is ruled by the next planet, as according to this graph in Agrippa's second book of Occult Philosophy. Using the example of Saturday, we can see the next hour is ruled by Jupiter. The third is ruled by Mars, the fourth by the Sun, the fifth by Venus, the sixth by Mercury, and finally the seventh by the Moon. The eighth hour is ruled by Saturn, and this pattern repeats. The same planetary hours progress for Sunday. First is ruled by the Sun, second Venus, third Mercury, fourth the Moon, fifth Saturn, sixth Jupiter, and finally seventh Mars. And this pattern repeats for the 8th hour, etc. It should be noted that the 24th hour of each day precedes the next day's planetary pattern. For example, the 24th hour of Saturn is ruled by Mars, so the first hour of the next day is ruled by the Sun. Sunday's 24th hour is ruled by Mercury, and the first hour of Monday is ruled by the Moon. This pattern of Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, and Moon repeats throughout the entire week. It is convenient for most to calculate 1 hour or 60 minutes of time to each of the 24 hours of one day. This makes it easy to calculate and passes as sufficient for most planetary workings. Equal days of daylight, 12 hours, and equal parts of night for 12 hours. If you really want to get specific, can calculate sunrise on a specific day, the sunset of that day, and the next day's sunrise, and divide that time by 24 to get the actual length of daylight and evening planetary hours. Most people do not place such exact measurements and simply divide 24 hours of day and night into equal 24 planetary hours of 60 minutes each, 12 hours for the day and 12 hours for the night. Starting with our example of Saturn, following the outer circle in a clockwise motion. The first sunrise hour of Saturday is ruled by Saturn. The second hour ruled by Jupiter. Third hour ruled by Mars. Fourth hour ruled by the Sun. Fifth hour ruled by Venus. Sixth hour ruled by Mercury. And the final seventh hour ruled by the Moon. And then completing a full rotation, returning to Saturn for the 8th hour and beginning the cycle over again. This pattern works the same for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, etc. The heptagram is the perfect learning tool. It introduces the concept of inner work, or the great work, the prime materials, the 4 elements, the process of transformation, and finally a planetary calculator for determining what planet rules which hour. Most importantly, it represents a continuation of an astrological magical system going back far into antiquity and still surviving to this day. Open any book on magic and chances are you will see a reference table of planetary hours.